Hello. Oh. Hello, hello, hello. Ooh, let's see if anybody's gonna come in there tonight. Hello, anybody in there? Turn this down. What's up, Kentucky? Cool, good. What all did you get into? Fishing stuff? Come on in the house with us. Trying to get set up here. Running a little bit late for tonight, trying to figure out what all we might discuss and go over and fudge our way through it. I got a few things I'm gonna try to go over. Not keep this real long tonight, but wait and see if anybody comes in. But what all did you get into there, Jim? I got my tablet down here trying to watch y'all's comments. It's a lot easier for me to see the comments down here on a bigger screen because I'm about blind. I started off with saying, God bless America. God bless you and your family, and thank you for coming in there tonight. 2 perch and a 4 and 5 pound. What's up, Justin? Come on in the house, buddy. Let me shut this door so I ain't interrupting the wife while she's watching the TV. Yeah, we got her set up out here tonight. Yeah, I might have to find a different venue when it starts getting darker in the evening. I had to bring a light out here to set up, so we wouldn't be trying to do this in the dark. 4 and 5 pounds. What was that, catfish? Hopefully some more will come in. Channels. Ain't nothing wrong with 4 or 5 pound channels. That's good channel cats. Yeah, that's good channel cats. Oh, good. I should have set this up where I'm looking up here at the camera too, where I can see y'all instead of looking down. But anyway, somebody was asking me how I made my planers that I'm trying to learn to use. Now, fellas, when I say that I'm making planers and bobbers and stuff like that, what I'm doing is not trying to reinvent the wheel or make something different. I'm just trying to make something that I can try to see if I want to use planers, or if I'm with running that pontoon, if I'm going to be able to run them. I'm not making heavy duty. I'm not making them to last. I'm making them that I can use and try. And if I like, I mean, I'm going to make them where they will work. But it's something that, you know, if I can use them 3 or 4 or 5 times and say, hey, yep, that's what's up, Passion? Come on in the house. And Patriot Tackle Talk on Wednesday night. That's what we're going to talk about. But so that's what I'm after doing, is making a product that I can see. What's up, Justin? You just got notified. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of holding off just a little bit. Yeah, that's true, Catman. You got to realize, me and my pontoon, I don't have the best setup as far as a trolling motor. So as long as the wind is not blowing me all over the lake, I'm doing good, Justin. I hope you're doing good. I don't know if you at work tonight or not. But as long as the wind ain't hammering me so hard, then I can run them. What's up, Jimmy? Come on in. But if the wind gets blowing me around, it's hard for me to control that pontoon. Y'all see me the other day out on the lake. Once the wind got up, wildlife, come on in. I would have never been able to run planer boards. I would have been all twisted up. I would have had a mess. I was having a time as it was. So that's why I do that until I get the other Patriot cat up and running and set up like I want, and maybe find me a good iPilot trolling motor. Then, you know, I'm really going to be limited as far as running planer boards. So that's why I do something. I basically build them out of what I've got around the house, and this is basically a farm, and I got all kind of junk and stuff that I need to clean out, throw away. At the same time, sometimes we come across stuff that we're glad we didn't throw away. So what I'm going to show you is the way I made one of my planer boards. Is just a plain pool noodle. And the other one that I showed y'all the other night was it was actually made out of one of them sliders that you put underneath furniture or whatever. And I like it because it's got a little bit of a cupping to it. But tonight, just to do a quick intro of how I make them. What's up, Jimmy? This was a piece of plastic that was actually like come off a gutter guard. Nolan, come on in. Some add-ons that you add on to your gutter to keep the leaves out of your gutter, and it's just made out of some pretty stiff plastic. But the reason I'm doing this, like I said, to see if I can use them. I've actually got 4, but the other 2 that I made them out of aluminum. What's up, El Stan? Come on in the house. They was too heavy. They would float, but they was riding low in the water. So them will not work. So I got to looking around. I thought, I need something for tonight to show y'all a quick way to make something to see if you want to try it. And I mean, they'll last. Depends on how hard you are on them or whatever. But instead of cutting just a flat piece of plastic, I left that edge on it when I cut it off. And when I cut the pool noodle, let me cut this right quick. I mean, y'all can call this redneck engineering if you want, or however you want to call it. But what we're going to do, just take and slice it. Now you can, that one set I actually used pipe insulation, which it'll float it, just it's not as thick and it does not have the flotation that a pool noodle does. And they work, but I noticed that last time I used that one, that with a 3-ounce sinker and a big chunk of bait, it was riding pretty low in the water. Which, you know, if a cat hits it, it's going to pull it under, which is a good thing. So that way you'll see it. But I think I would like a little bit more flotation on them. I think you're supposed to have, I don't know. And tell you the truth, guys, I've never laid my hands on a real planer board. So when I design, build, or whatever, y'all realize, what's up, Richard? Now that's an experienced cat man right there. Y'all got to realize I've never laid my hand on any of these dragon weights, real ones. I've never laid my hands on real cat bobbers, and I've never laid my hands on planer boards. Thank you, Passion. I appreciate that. And don't forget about the American Flag Challenge, people. I think that's something that's very important to me, and I think for all Americans. So that's why, if you see it, if I'm doing something wrong, or if my design's wrong, or I'm leading somebody wrong, please speak up, make a comment, say, hey, whoa, bud, whoa, that's wrong, that's wrong. Trust me, I don't wear my feelings on my sleeve. You can't hurt my feelings. What's up, Virginia? Thank you, Justin. So, I make my design on what I'm watching on YouTube, what I read, and go from there. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. Um, so, needless to say, I cut the pool noodle, and with that lip in there, you're able to slide it right in, and it locks it in place. And you can pull it down. You see how it locked it in. I'll trim some of it off. And I might should have left that a little bit longer. I don't know. Like I said, I've never laid my hands on them. Let me trim this just a hair. Actually, I'm gonna trim a little bit more because I'm gonna trim the pool noodle. I use these old metal shears. And you can use this out of real thin metal. I didn't have no real thin metal. And the only thing about using metal is that you got to make sure you get all your edges really dulled down. Because if you don't, then there goes the cut line. And I'm not going to glue this tonight because I'm not through trimming and figuring out. I'm just basically giving y'all a design. What's up, Murder? That locks it in place. And then you can take it, spread it apart, spray a little bit of contact glue in the cracks, or a little bit of, I use what they call E6000. It's waterproof adhesive that you can get it at Walmart. It's cheap, and we use it in our gold mining on our daggum wetsuits and stuff like that. And once it's set up, it's completely waterproof. So anyway, that's what I'll seal it with, is the E6000. That gives you plenty of flotation. I have whatever the price is of a pool noodle, and this was an old gutter guard. And from what I understand, your bottom hole down at the bottom, down here, goes to the side with your weight and your bait. And then your other side, you want to drill a hole up pretty high. So I've been trying to figure out what are they using for this top one. And on the one that I made, what's up, Shannon? This was some kind of spring I found in a bunch of old tools that I was throwing away. It was pretty long. It was probably about that long. It had a little red button on the end of it, and you pushed it down, and then little old grabbers come out the end. And I think it's for reaching inside like motor blocks and grabbing bolts or nuts or something that's in there. So on the other ones, that's what I used. It ain't real heavy. It's flexible, so you can throw it around and you don't break it, bend it, or whatever. Now I got to find me some more of them. What they are, I don't have a clue. So if one of you know what it is, it has like 3 little prongs that come out the end of it, and you can grab stuff with it by pushing that button, spring-loaded button. So that's what I use for mine at the top. And I load up. Oh, my wire cutters. You can go in, might take you up out on, Richard. Take you up on a fishing trip too. I used the skater clips to grab my line, and I used little old plastic tubing. And I don't have no more. Like aquarium tubing. And you slide them up on them teeth and drop you a little bit of glue inside and drop that down on there so that can grab your line. Let me cut this off. And guys, if I'm wrong, please straighten my tail out. And see, this has got a little screw in it. You take that screw out. See, guys, I'm not set up tonight. I was cutting grass all day, so I'm behind. But anyway, you take that screw out. I cut this little extra piece off. I don't need it because I'm not running wire through it. And then I feed that through here. Or on my other ones, what I've done, so I got a little bit of flexibility. Was put a swivel. Just take that swivel. You can take that screw, cut this off, take that screw out, run it back through your swivel, and then you hook it onto your bar. See, I'm not set up. I'm sorry. Just like so. This piece will go onto the front. And you see I cut it curved so I wouldn't get them backwards. And then I run a little screw through the back and screw that to it. And then your clip goes onto here. That's your top part. Your last part that goes to the bottom, I take a little bitty key ring, the little small ones, with a barrel swivel in it too. Ouch. I mean, not a barrel swivel, but a quick swivel. Drill a little hole, put it in the back, and there you go. They work great. Now, they're not going to last, but it's something cheap, quick, that you can make at home out of something you probably got laying around anyway, and see if you're going to like it. And if they work, they work. If they don't, if you're on a river, from what I understand, you can throw them out there while you're fishing off the bank and let the river pull your rods out. That would be neat. I fish lakes, and we very seldom have current unless we get a lot of rain, and they release a lot of water, so we very seldom get a current. So anyway, that's the gist of me making how I made my planer boards. Yeah, Justin, I mean, to make them like that is quick and easy, and it's cheap, and you can see if you're going to like them or if they're going to work for you. If they're not work for you, then you're not out nothing. I think a good set of planer boards is like 50, 60 bucks. And the other day I told you I made one of these dragon weights. I don't know what's going on, guys. I don't know why I just lost signal. I'm running off my daggum Wi-Fi. They're 75 bucks, okay. I didn't know how much they were. I didn't look into them. I figured I'd make me a set and see if I could use them. Anyway, that straw, I don't like that. I thought that plastic was tougher. It's not. So I'm going to be taking that apart. Yeah, it worked. And I actually caught that flathead that the other day on this rattle. And I did get me another rod today to replace the broken one I broke Sunday. But, you know, I guess I'm a little bit of a tightwad. So I actually found some tubing that was around the house. And I'm going to make me another dragon weight. I'm going to make this in about like the one Larry Moose uses. The longer version, so it'll actually stand up, because that area I was fishing Sunday has some pretty bad hang-ups, and I want something long that's going to get my stuff up and over whatever's down there, because there's something down there that will cut your line. And I got a question, and Richard might be able to answer this. When you're fishing for catfish underneath floats, I've been throwing circle hooks, but I'm just concerned that a circle hook takes a lot of drag to pull it into the corner of the catfish's mouth. I actually, when I stopped and got my other rod today at the Bass Shack in Shelby, North Carolina, great place, great people. I run Gamakatsu circle hooks. I got 8/0. She's going to order me some 10/0. But I know for years before the circle hooks ever come out, I run Kell hooks, big Kell hooks. So that's what I stopped and got today. Was me some of the big Kell hooks. They're offset, as you can see. You run Kell hooks. Well, see, Justin, we on the right daggum brainwave, because a Kell hook's almost like a circle, but yet it's straight enough that you still can part his eyeballs with setting the hook. And plus, I mean, if you ain't paying attention, it's got enough of that circle bite to it that it'll actually set into the corner of his mouth without him swallowing it. You use the same hooks. See, that I am thinking right. That I'm glad. Because I bought some of the Eagle Claw circle hooks, because I got to looking at them. These are the red ones. They are a little bit different than the Gamakatsus. They're almost like a Kell hook. They're a little bit straighter, so I believe you could actually set the hook with these. And you know, I do miss setting the hook on old fish. That's you know, that makes your man card grow a little bit bigger when you part his eyeballs. So I'm glad I'm thinking in the right direction on some of this stuff. So anybody got any questions so far on what we went over? I like to offset my hook while I'm using jugs and noodles. Okay. Do you use circle hooks on your jugs and your noodles? Or do you use a Kell hook or a straight hook? I know for years before the Kells come out, we used big worm hooks, like the bass worm hooks, because you couldn't find a hook that was strong enough or had enough bite for catfish and had enough gap to get into their jaw. Because I throwed big brim heads many years ago, and when all we had was channel cats in our lake. And I was looking for bigger channels, and I think my largest channel is a 17-pound channel, which now you will not find that in Lake Wiley. You'll be lucky to find 2 or 3 pound channels. Yeah, Richard, if you go on Steve Douglas's YouTube page and go down to where you find where he's talking to Larry Moose, however you say his name, you just have to offset them, okay? He talks about his dragon tail or whatever. I don't think Larry called it that. That's what Steve Douglas called it. He was talking about using it, and he said now he uses the smaller ones when he's not into so much timber and log jams and stuff, but when he gets into real heavy timber and log jams, he actually throws one that's about 36 inches long. And all his weight is like this, all his weight is in the bottom. So the rest of the 36 inch is actually full of air. So it'll stand up, and he said a lot of times if it gets act like it gets hung, you just stop, let a little bit of slack, and bump it a couple times. It'll jump straight up and then come over. And he said after he come up with that design, that he hasn't thrown a weight. And when he done that video, he had finished in the top 3 in like 6 tournaments and hadn't thrown a single boat anchor yet by using that dragon. And he said he drags through some heavy timber, some real snaggy stuff, and has yet to hang it up. He said he made a set for one of his buddies, 2 of them, and said the guy's drug them for 4 years and still dragging them, has yet to lose them. So I figured in that spot where I'm having so much trouble losing equipment, I'm going to make me some long ones, and then I'm going to drag back through there. And I'm probably, instead of using them fake demon dragons, because I noticed they just don't have the buoyancy, the flotation as the bobbers. They don't. So I'm going back with longer leaders, bigger bobbers, to keep everything up off the bottom except the bottom of my weight. And you know, probably throw some floats. I got a guy that I talked to. He's out of Bowling Springs, North Carolina, right above Shelby, and he's been catching some on floats. And a couple other people I know are catching some on floats, and they're actually doing good. That's a nice muskie there, buddy. We don't have no muskie in our water, but that's all right. Maybe one day if I'm ever up north, I got my wife's uncle lives up there in Minnesota. And I'd have to go up there and see what all he's got in his waters. And the floats, I'm gonna take this float apart that I made and show y'all while we out here on Tackle Talk, and go over this right quick with you, so you can make you some. Yeah, I've seen quite a few, Dieter and quite a few other people's making these dragon floats with some kind of material, with some kind of not cloth, but some kind of fabric type of material. And I'm just concerned with, I don't know what's down in the spot that I'm at. It almost feels like metal, because it will cut your line. Even with just a light amount of tension on it, it will cut your line. And Larry Muse, the way he was talking, is he uses a tubing about like this, a poly tubing, and it's slick, and it's stiff enough, but yet it ain't so stiff as like throwing a board or throwing a big old giant bolt. But it's slick enough to slide up and over something without hanging. And I'm just concerned, I know a lot of people use tennis shoe strings or something like that, spread it out. Something like that will hang on little bitty sharp edges on limbs, especially if you're coming through where somebody's thrown out a bunch of fresh Christmas trees for crappy holes. This right here might slide through that, where I'm scared that fabric will get hung. I mean, I might be thinking wrong. You know, I'm just back into catfishing after a 15 to 16 year break for 9 months. So I'm still real new at all this. So really jumping on here doing Tackle Talk is probably out of my league, but we're gonna have fun doing it. So pool noodle, same pool noodle I made the planer boards out of. I made my catfish bobbers. And so this is how I done it. If I can get it out of here without tearing it up. Probably pulled the wrong end. I did. So, piece of clothes hanger. These are the sinker slides that I actually get from Bass Shack. I do not know who makes them. They got them in a box up there, and I grabbed me a handful of them. They're pretty good made. They're not like the line, you pop them on your line like the ones they're selling now. And what I've done, see how wide that gap is? You can see it right here. And see how wide the gap is now? What I done was pinch it. Not with these, I had a pair of pliers, and I pinched it down. I stuck a piece of wire in here so I wouldn't close that gap all the way up. Oops, excuse me, where you can see it. I stuck a piece of wire in there so I wouldn't close that gap all the way up, and then I squeezed it down. And what it does with 30-pound line, which is what I throw, 30-pound big game, you take and pull it, and it pops. And it locks that line in, and it'll slide up and down your line. And all you have to do, you see I got a bead. Let me take this one off. I've got a bead right here. I've got my knot on my line. And you just pop it on. But anyway, I put it on a clothes hanger. See how I got a bend in that clothes hanger? I'm gonna have to make a new hole. Let me pull this off. I run it the wrong direction. You'll have to excuse me. I bent it wrong. This has still got the plastic on it. I'll take that off right quick. But the Chris Flores bobber is basically the same bobber as what I'm making here. I'll take this off. He uses pool noodles, and he glues a top on it, a solid top, where you can actually use. I've seen that they just come out with the ones that you can use these whisker lights, the whisker stick lights on. I'll make me something where I can do the same thing. Anyway, you stick this wire through here, all the way through. It comes out the other side. That's a little bit high. Stick it through. Take your sinker slide, stick it inside, just like that. Slide your clothes hanger all the way through to the other side. You got your bend. You stick it in the side. It locks it in. Take your hanger, your wire or pliers, bend that around like this. Then squeeze it. And then when you let it out, I gotta bend it a little bit more. You let it out, squeeze it, turn it in, let it out, and it locks it in place. And there's your bobber, your slip bobber. And you don't have to have this on your line all the time. If you run just a regular Carolina rig, just say if this is your sinker, just tie you an extra bead on your line above your sinker and one below your sinker, but the one above it, and just make sure that you reach and clip it on. And I have used these and they work great. And there you go. Now these is probably a little bit big. I probably could shark fish with these big rascals. I can probably cut them down in half and have plenty of flotation. I didn't know how much they'd float when I first made them, but now that I threw them with 3 ounces, it barely will make them stand up. So what I'm gonna actually do, since I done brought this in, is I'm gonna cut it in half. And guys, you probably won't see me live fishing. And there we go. And if you use just the glow sticks, they'll just stick right down in this foam and they won't throw out. Now the whisker sticks, I got to figure out a different top or something that I can stick it in, twist it, and lock it in place, because them things are too expensive to be slinging off out in the water and watch them go to the bottom of the lake. But you probably won't see me go live until next month out on the boat fishing. I will be making videos, but I will not be going live. I didn't realize, I thought we had unlimited data on our cell phones. I do not. And them 2-hour live feeds, I eat our data up. What's up, Derek? We're just going over a few things, having fun, talking a little BS, talking a little stuff. Where are you getting your love cut? I love Wiley. I like Moss. It's a tough lake. It will really challenge you. I haven't fished it enough to really set up any kind of thought on how I need to go about it. You fish that lake different than you fish Wiley. It's deep, a lot deeper in spots. It's got real sharp drop-offs from the bank. You can come off 5 foot off the bank and drop into 60 foot of water. So that lake I've got a lot to learn about that lake. It's beautiful. It's clean, clear water, and it's a tough lake. But I haven't give up on that lake either. I'm pretty sure there's some big, it's got the opportunity for some big fish. Oh. So, anybody got any questions on how I do what, when, whom, and how? And I think on the last one I showed y'all about using the wire nuts. You have a question. The Kell hooks, they'll probably work both ways, Virginia, because they do have enough turn in them. Let me pull one out. They do have enough turn in them. Kell hooks has been out for a long time. See, they do have enough turn in them. Let me get it behind a white background. I don't have nothing white, but green. See, they got enough turn in them that if you're not paying attention, that it'll probably turn that hook into the catfish's jaw. This is actually a live bait hook. It was what it was designed for. Shad, minnows, like big bass minnows and stuff like that. That'll be right in here and still leave you that good gap in there for the catfish or bass to be able to get into their jaw. And at the same time, you can still set the hook with these because it's really not a true circle hook. I loved them. I used them for years. They work good on jugs and noodles. I thought they did. I used them for years catfishing because I threw big brimhead, and them hooks give me plenty of room for hooking a bigger chunk of that meat, so you wouldn't fling it off. Because if you know, I bank fished a whole lot, and bank fishermen, we have to try to reach the center of the daggum lake, and they work great. Before that, I was trying to fish with real big, giant bass worm hooks. The bigger I could get, the better I was. But I did get Bass Jack. She's going to order me some 10-aught Gamakatsu circle hooks, the octopus. Has anybody used the big game? That's what I was thinking, Richard. That's exactly what I was thinking. She ordered me some of the 10-aught Gamakatsu octopus hooks. And she asked me about the 10-aught Gamakatsu big catfish hooks. Has anybody used them yet? I told her I thought that they was actually a thicker hook, because a lot of companies like Team Catfish and some of them other ones, them are some thick hooks, man. I've got a couple of them that I bought, and I don't necessarily like something that thick. I like a thinner hook that's actually got the strength. They are thick. That's what I was thinking. You got some now. So are they a lot thicker than the regular octopus hooks? Because I told her just to order the regular Gamakatsu octopus. Huh. Do you seem like your hook ratio's the same? What's up, Tightwad? Come on in the house. I don't know. I might get it order a couple sets of them just to put on the shelf. I'm trying to get them to start carrying a lot more catfish stuff. You know, the catfish world's growing, so and I think they are on the smaller ones. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like a thinner hook. That's why I like the regular Gamakatsu circle hooks, octopus hooks. They are a thinner hook. You haven't missed a cast. That's what I want to hear. See, we covered a good bit of stuff tonight. I learned stuff. I hope y'all can learn a few things. Yeah, you look around. I mean, you might have to go online and order them. And I probably could have ordered them. I just like giving Bass Shack as much business as I can. They're a family-owned bait shop, bait and tackle shop that's been there at least 40 years, as long as I can remember. You're experimenting with triple threats right now. Hey, the only way to find out is to try them. You know, like I say about fishing, you don't know till you throw. And that's one of my sayings now about any hole that I come to. I don't know until I throw. So let me know, Richard, how them work out for you. Because, I mean, I've heard some bad things about Gamakatsus. I've never had a problem. I used them for years. I used their bass hooks when I used to tournament fish. Peel and drag. What are you doing, buddy? Come on in the house with us. See, there you go. That's what this is all about. Us giving each other good information that each one of us can try, use. We might have questions before we want to spend our money on that product because we don't know. We've never had them in our hands. You know, that's like going out and spending $80 on a catfish rod. Yeah, I trust what other people saying about them. They good rods or whatever. Still want to put one in my hand. See, I like it. I like what's going on right here. We're sharing information. Each one of us is learning a little bit from each other. And that's actually what I wanted this show to be all about, is each one of us helping each other out. I live right here in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. I'm about 30 miles from Charlotte. Shelby's probably about 20 miles from here, west of here. My mother-in-law actually lives up in Shelby, so I'm up there a pretty good bit. And that's where the Bass Shack is in Shelby. They've been there for a long time. And they've got everything that you could ever want for bass fishing. The man that actually started it was a big-time bass fisherman for many a year. And they've got so many different rods, different style of rods, name of rods. But and they've also got a big selection of carp gear for carp fishermen. And now I'm trying to get them to and they carry a little bit of stuff for catfishing. You know, mainly hooks and weights and lines and a few rods. So I've been really pushing them, trying to order stuff and get into carrying more catfish gear. And I'm gonna sit down and make a list of stuff, you know, like the whisker sticks and some catfish bobbers and some, you know, sinker slides and just different things, some different companies. I'm gonna take a list of them up there to them and let her start looking into it, and some rods and reels. They carry a lot of the good reels simply because of carp fishermen. You buy from Jamie K Outdoors. I hear you. I've never been down there. I want to go check it out. I talked with him one day, and he was showing some of the shad that they had caught. And I said, look, man, I need some shad work, and I found them. He said, come down, and I looked where he's at, and I said, man, that's an hour and a half drive for me. Them shad would be dead before I got them home. But I've heard good things about him and his place, and I do want to go down and check them out. Make a trip down, like if I'm going to go down there to fish water race, stop in and check them out. started out with Team Catfish hooks. You like them, okay? That Catfisherman's Paradise. All right, Richard, now see, you're going to make me jump in the daggum truck and take a trip down there and check them out. Combine stuff from Jeremy Cat Fort Long. Oh, good. Yeah, he also carries some of the big cat rods too, don't he? The Mustad Demon Circles. Never tried the Mustad hooks. All of them, I'm sure all of them's gonna catch catfish, or they wouldn't be selling them. You know, I guess I stuck on Gamakatsus because I used them for so long. Oh yeah, Justin, that's right. You won you a rod, didn't you, buddy? Jeff Dunn's in the house. I'm sorry I missed your daggum comment, Jeff. We got us a good little crowd in here tonight. I had to go down and check out Jamie K. Because I think he carries the Big Cat Fever rods and a couple other brand rods. And I just need to make a trip down there and check him out. I went, like I said, I went up to Bass Shack today and I bought me another one of them old whisker circle hooks. Good, a little thinner, but very good hooks. Yep. You'll find you a reel for it, Justin. You know, I guess I'm partial to Abu Garcia's, the 6500s, and I've got 6000s. I hear you, Richard. Yeah, I had to go down there and check him out. I actually want to go down, especially when it starts getting wintertime. I want some of them big gizzard shad. I know they ain't cheap, but I like to I love shad for some reason. Yeah, I'm an Abu man too. Years and years ago, I had the 6500 C3s when they first come out, and you know, and I sold them years ago, and I wished I hadn't them. But now I got 6000s. I got 4 6000s, and they good reels. I'm not having no trouble with them. And bought them used. I bought 3 of them from the Bass Shack years ago, and I bought another one from a pawn shop and bought that 5000 from a pawn shop, and they're like brand new. I guess somebody bought them and needed the money. Used 4 offer channels. Makes sense. And that's actually what I bought these for, was smaller fish, and these are 6/0. I think these are 6, and I think these are 5s. Yeah, 5s and 6s. But I've caught little small channels and smaller blues on my 8/0. And I caught a 3-pound channel on that 10/0. 60 C4s. I hear you. How do you like that 6600? You use those eagle claws? I seen them. That's what I was wondering when I was looking for a hook to use underneath a bobber pilling. And something that I can still set the hook with, but yet be straight enough, be a circle enough that if I don't see it, it'll actually set itself. Not bad. I guess when I look at Abus, I look at reels that you can hand down. Oh, okay. Okay. Makes sense, Virginia. Yeah, I guess, you know, Abus is something like a Honda. You know, they don't change a whole lot about the way they look or their design. Now, I've heard some bad things on some of the newer ones that's not made in Sweden. All of mine are made in Sweden. But it's just one of them reels that there was plenty of them made. You can find parts for. They still make replacement parts. like around here, we have a lot of carp lakes. And these carp fishermen, that's what they buy. They love them. They buy the C3s. They buy 6,000, some 7,000s. I guess, when you first get into it and think you need a bigger reel. But they love them, so there's plenty of them. And a lot of times, tax time comes around, their buddy will go buy him a good set of 6,500s, nice rods, and then 3 months later, he got to pay the bills. And you'll find them in the pawn shops. Or you'll find them online on Facebook. Somebody's got a whole set for sale. And you can get them a lot cheaper than what if you did buy them brand new. Yep, you're exactly right. They are a workhorse. And, when you grow old, too old to go to the bank and fish, you can hand them down to your grandkids. And they'll just keep right on going. There'll always be somebody that can rebuild them, that can put new parts in them when they wear out. There'll always be plenty of the paws and the worm gears for them. So, yeah, they're a little bit more expensive on the get-go, but when the other ones wear out and you can't find parts for them, you'll say, well, I should have bought that Avid Garcia. Well, guys, we've been on here a good little bit, and I've enjoyed it, and I hope that we all can take something away from tonight's show, and that's exactly what I hope this show will be. I'm going to try to do it every Wednesday night, Patriot Tackle Talk, and if y'all got anything that you want brought up, you want discussed, try to figure out, or think that I might want to try out, put it in the comments when this goes off. I'll leave this up, and just come in and comment down there what you think, what we might need to discuss next week, and maybe I'll pull off some of my reels. And and he did have the parts up there at Bass Shack to fix my grandpa's old pin reel. I broke a gear inside that operates the worm gear and the paw. So I've got to replace the paw, the worm gear, and the little worm gear and the gear inside. He had all the parts for that old reel. So I'll be able to get that old reel back up. Wish me luck taking that thing apart. It's got 10,000 little bitty springs and screws inside. But I'll get it back together, and we'll have it back on the boat. Oh, let me look at you here. Sorry about that. You pick up some. I will do that, Derek. I had to meet right up here at the Waffle House. Ain't real far from me, right here on 161 in Kings Mountain, if you know where that's at. You're right, Pill and Drag. Thank you for coming in the house, guys. Yeah, I first took that oven apart. I got it back together after it took me 20 freaking times taking it off and on, off and on, off and on. But Bass Shack can fix it, and they got all the parts to fix them old things. Jimmy, I thank you. Gentlemen, it's been a wonderful night. Like I said, leave comments and let me know what y'all might want to see next week. We'll pull out some of my reels. We'll compare what reels I have to some of the cheaper ones that I've had for 20 years, and they're still standing the test of time. And a few other things. So, with no further ado, God bless America, and God bless each and one of you, you and your family, and hope to see y'all on the water. Until then, good night.